Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Black Eel Podcast with your hosts, Scott and Mike. We have a lot to discuss today. We're going to get right into it, at least talk about the order. In the beginning, we're going to be talking about the usual stuff, the stuff that just came out recently. So we have a trailer for Venom. We have, oh my gosh, we have the trailer for Venom. We have the,
My Adventures with Superman episode 4.
no. There was something else before that. We were also going to talk about the brief trailer or the brief extended trailer
Oh,
of Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine. Then we're going to discuss My Adventures with Superman episode 4, and then talk about the 2 episode season premiere of The Acolyte, which will then lead us to discuss Mike's spotlight, character spotlight, and then we'll go into talk about what's going on for next week, which is another big week. We're going to have a bunch of big weeks for the next, I don't know, I think it's like 7 weeks.
it's gonna
five
take us through
five
time.
weeks minimum. I think 5 weeks minimum,
Yeah, yes.
possibly seven. But
We
anyway,
got a lot
so
of we got a lot of content,
a
and then
lot of
once the shows start ending, then the movies start coming out. So
yes, but at least they're going to be like they're like slightly spread out, not like with shows they come out once a week, and it's like oh no
yeah,
we're gonna once the movie's done, the movie's done.
yeah.
I hate saying it that way, but it's true. So anyway, let's briefly talk about the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. It showed a little bit more of the fighting scenes. It shows a little bit more of the interactions between Deadpool and Wolverine, which is exactly what we wanted. Deadpool being sexual towards Wolverine, which is exactly what we were expecting and wanting. Let's be honest.
Yep.
And we got to see the legs of Lady Deadpool.
We saw the female Xavier. I'm blanking on her name still.
Cassandra Nova,
Cassandra Nova. Thank you. We saw her kind of manhandling
which we've
Wolverine.
already seen in the trailer already.
Yep, we saw
But I
that.
think it
We
was a.
saw. I
I
feel
do
like we
agree with
saw
you.
might have saw a little bit more in this,
I
but
was going to say, I think it was a slightly extended. Same thing with
um,
the fight between the two of them.
yep. And obviously, now I know you had mentioned it in the first trailer, but I had not picked it up. But in this trailer, I picked up that he said Paul Rudd has aged. So when they opened the giant Ant Man mask, and I saw the skull this time, so clearly they confirmed that which Ant Man this was, because I know that was.
Which makes sense because of the suit.
Does it?
Yeah, because
Is
if I
this in the
remember,
same suit?
yes, but Hank Pym never grew.
Oh, he didn't.
No, Hank Pym could only shrink. So based on the MCU, Hank could only shrink.
Oh, okay. I thought they had said that he tried it, but never could do it for that long because it drained
No,
his.
that was Goliath.
Oh, okay.
Goliath was the grower,
Oh, okay.
and so he used the tech. He used it. I said it on purpose.
I
Um,
know.
so it made sense that it was Scott Lang, Ant Man. That being said, I don't think it would have ruined anything if it was Hank
No,
Pym.
I mean it's not.
It's
It's not.
dead. It's dead.
That's not. Yeah.
It's being used as a fortress. Nobody cares.
This is an alternate universe. It's not like
It's not even
it's
an
not.
alternate universe. It's in the void. It's in where
Well,
time
yes.
doesn't exist.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not anything that's going to impact the story. It's not going to
No,
change the main timeline of the
no.
MCU. It was just something out of our own curiosity that
Yeah, hundred
everyone was
percent. No, I
wondering.
agree with you. But yeah, no, that was fun. Very much. I mean, I've been looking forward to this from the beginning, even
Mhm.
before Disney bought Fox. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
for Deadpool 3.
As
So
soon as Deadpool 2 came out, everyone was looking forward to Deadpool 3, and now we're
yeah,
getting it. Except
nine.
this isn't Deadpool 3.
It's not.
No, what's Ryan Reynolds said this is not Deadpool 3.
Oh, you know what? It might be considered Deadpool 1 because it's the start of the Disney.
Oh, okay. I mean, maybe.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
this is.
We'll have to wait and see. We have to see how this movie goes because we don't know where it's going to go, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Like it literally could turn into anything. But I've been looking forward to this obviously from the get go. I'm even more hyped than I've ever been for a movie. I'm super looking forward to July. Mike and I are going to try to see it together, maybe.
Hey,
Just
I'm
because,
fine with it. You're the one who was telling me you couldn't. So
well, at the
this was
time,
because of work. So
yes, just because it
obviously.
worked, so it was different. But I
Yeah.
do agree with you. Yes. But anyway, let's get right into the Venom trailer because there's something we gotta discuss about the Venom trailer.
Okay.
I'm a little confused at a couple of things. I'm hoping
Was
that
it
they explain
was
in
it the
the.
symbiote?
It was the symbiote that was on the table.
I'm
That
seeing a lot of discussion about
that
that.
confuses me. And then also we have Baron Mordo in Venom 3, but he's not Baron Mordo. He's from Doctor
Okay.
Strange. You know who I'm talking about? The black guy
Yeah.
from Doctor Strange?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious on all that because I thought that the symbiote was in 616, the main MCU.
Yep.
So now I'm sort of confused.
Yeah.
Um,
Everyone. I'm seeing a lot of discussion about that. I'm seeing a lot of back and forth with the fact that they're saying that maybe uh,
like before the turn back, like
yeah,
before they switched back.
it was before it switched back that it could have been that instant.
But that wouldn't
Um,
make any sense why he was there, though.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I get what you're saying, and I do understand. But that was one of the only things that like bothered me, and it wasn't even that it bothered me. I was just confused. I was more confused than anything else, and that was
Yeah.
the only thing. Everything else, loved it, loved everything about it, super excited about it. Also, did you see the meme for Venom, the trilogy? You know how they show
Is
like,
is
oh
it the horse?
yes, 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 yes.
Yep.
So, the thing we're talking about is at one point, Eddie Brock is like, "All right, how fast can you make this horse go without killing him? Only one way to find out." And he literally just turns into a Venom horse, and it is everything. I never knew I wanted to see a Venom horse more than I did at that moment,
Yep.
and it was
No, it's just
perfect.
I'm just laughing.
I don't know what I was expecting, but I definitely it went beyond anything I could think of because I
Yeah.
was not thinking of it as I thought that would have been something stupid, and they made
Mhm.
it actually awesome.
Yeah. I thought that was good. Like you said, wasn't expecting it. Didn't know I wanted it. Now I saw it and I can't wait.
The trailer gave us enough to kind of know what's going on a little bit, but also not enough that we don't know. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happens that it's like it was purposely done. I would imagine that it was done purposely, where it's like we're showing them a bunch of scenes and we're definitely not putting them in an order, or maybe
Mm,
we are, but they don't know because there's a
yeah.
bunch of stuff missing in the middle.
Yeah. Obviously, we know that these are Venom, not symbiotes from his planet, correct?
Yeah,
And so they're invading Earth.
which
I'm assuming we're going to be seeing the symbiote god. Is that what it was?
no, the symbiote
Yes.
god.
So
Which,
I'm
by the way,
assuming.
I'm hoping he better have his sword. He better have his sword.
So yep. I mean, this is supposed to be the last Venom movie, so they have to go all out on this. So
No, 100%,
like
100%. I also like that it's called Last Dance. I thought it was because I think we knew it was Last Dance
we saw
before
it a
the
long
trailer,
time
right?
ago. I told you about it. It was called The
No,
Last
right.
Dance a
That's what I'm
while
saying.
ago.
And I don't think we kind of like fully knew what the, but I think it like fit perfectly. Meaning like we got to see like literally a dance, but also like a dance in the trailer.
Hmm. I know. When I first told you, you were disappointed with it. You were like,
Well,
"Oh,
because
well,
it's
that
not the
tells us
name.
everything that's going on."
Well, I think also too. I think there wasn't enough context. Like
Yeah.
because in my mind, it's like it didn't give me anything, but I think that was the point. It wasn't meant to. It wasn't meant to be like Venom Carnage. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Yeah.
meant to be Venom Null. No, it's Venom's last dance. We might not even see Null necessarily, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad about it. Because we don't know what the full parameters are. But these symbiotes are creepy as all hell.
No, no, they are. They look terrifying.
Yeah, Null is a humanoid looking symbiote. Um, think uh, you have you seen like a modern version of Dracula in the Marvel comics? Probably
No,
not.
no.
He basically looks like Dracula
Okay.
with a spider on his chest, and
Okay.
don't ask why.
They have a fixation on Spider-Man, don't they?
Well, I think it has to do with because they're the hive mind that they all kind of like because he was attached to Spider-Man, they all like kind of go with the flow.
I mean, that may make sense. So I,
Which I'm also curious to see what happens with the hive mind because Null controls all.
yep.
And in the comics, Venom kills Null and Venom becomes the all. He becomes the hive mind.
Oh, okay. That would explain the Last Dance as well, because then that means he's done with.
I also like him biting the heads of the criminals.
Yeah. I forgot
That was
about
the
that.
perfect scene where it's like, we are Venom. All right, we gotta get better at this.
That was actually really funny. And
I
then
thought they had
then
perfected
the
this
next
part.
scene, you see him walking away. He's like, "Oh, this is upsetting." He's got a stomach
I
ache
thought
from it.
I literally thought he said my stomach hurts. This is making my stomach upset. I really thought that's what he said, but it was tough to hear what he was saying.
No,
But
I think you might be right. I
it
watched
was definitely something stomach related. Like,
yeah,
but we were assuming it was right after because in the trailer it was right after he bit the heads off. But that doesn't
yeah,
mean that's where that's from.
it's true. That's
We also
you're
get
right.
to see we also get to see Eddie Brock meet Chow or Chow, Lady Chow. What's her name? Miss Chow,
Oh,
Miss Chang, Miss
the
Chang, the Asian woman from all the movies,
the
the
one at
shop owner.
the convenience
Yeah,
store. Yeah,
who's been in literally every Spider-Man movie that wasn't part of the MCU. Literally, because
and
she was in Beyond the Universe. No, Beyond the Spider Verse.
oh yeah, she was. That's right.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So we get to see her in the final movie, even though it's not at all what I was expecting. They see her in Vegas.
That was hilarious.
Eddie Brock, Lady Chow, and then we see her dance with Venom. Um,
Uh,
which a lot of things have to be explained on that one. Definitely like it. I think there's I think I have to go in with a clear mind because there was a lot happening, but I don't know what's happening. We saw, like I said, we see enough to kind of know. Like, obviously it's action packed. Obviously it's got its humor. Obviously Venom slash Brock is going to be hunted down. You know what I mean? Like,
mhm.
we all know that. Like, that's the usual shit, right? But I think we don't know all the layers, and I feel
Yeah.
like those layers can make or break the movie. But Venom hasn't been horrendous.
No,
Carnage obviously wasn't as good as the first Venom movie, but that doesn't mean it was a bad movie.
no. Venom. The first Venom was great. The second one, like you said, it wasn't as good as the first one. It was a
But I
little bit.
also, I
It
also
wasn't.
think too, like we discussed this, it's very rare. There's very few franchises where like the later movies are better. Obviously,
Yeah,
sometimes MCU has done it, but it's hard to compare that because it's its own category, right?
yeah.
But like when it comes to trilogies and stuff like that, like Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire was so much better than 1, and not that 1 was bad, but like it was just you know what I'm saying? Like normally it's worse.
Two is a legendary movie.
Yeah. And like the same thing with like Batman
Batman,
Begins and
Batman
The Dark
Begins and The
Knight.
Dark Knight.
Yep.
I mean,
And then there's others where it falls flat a little bit. Like Deadpool 1 was significantly better than Deadpool 2 because the expectation for Deadpool 1 wasn't there. We didn't know what we were getting. We were hoping we were getting something great, but we didn't know. And then Deadpool 2, we expected it to be the same as Deadpool 1, and it was, but because of that,
that was the thing, because it was the same as Deadpool one. It was nothing new, so it wasn't as
here's the
wow.
thing, 100% agree with you, and that's kind of the point I'm making. So it's like I'm not surprised, and I'm hoping the third one for Venom is going to be amazing. From what I've seen, great.
So far, it's good.
No,
Now we have to
there's,
keep in
there's been
mind that
nothing. There's been nothing I've been mad about.
but you have to keep in mind this is Sony, and Sony's track record
I agree,
is spotty.
but
So
the one thing that they haven't horrendously screwed up has been Venom.
yes,
So I
which is
have I
hilarious
have
because everything else in the in this universe has
I
been
in the Sonyverse I
terrible.
agree. Everything in the Sonyverse I agree. But you understand the point I'm making. Venom is the one like hope I have. Like
Yeah,
when we get to Craven the Hunter, my expectations are low.
no,
I think it's,
absolutely.
I think it's going to be a great action movie. It's not going to be a comic book movie in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like I just saw a recent trailer for it, or maybe it was the same one, and I just rewatched it. I don't know. There was some things I wasn't as impressed by, but it's Sonyverse. I shouldn't be expecting anything phenomenal.
Hmm.
But yeah, anything else you want to add? Because those are like the main things. We get to see Venom be Venom. We get to kind of hear like Brock and Venom basically saying, "We're ready to die. Let's do this."
Yeah. No, I mean, I know it's the first teaser trailer for this movie.
Is it
I
considered a teaser trailer, or is it a full
what
blown trailer?
Well, okay, this is a full blown trailer, but this is the like it's a
No,
teaser trailer because this is the first
it's
one
the
we've
first
got. We
one.
got it's a taste.
We still don't know what's going on. We
Yeah,
know it's the Last Dance. Um,
yeah,
that's-
we know it's over after this, so we'll see what happens. I
well,
mean,
I'm
for all
curious about
you know,
that though. Is we don't know. We know it's the end of the Venom trilogy, but it might not be the end of Venom.
I mean, Venom could appear in other movies. I was about to say, like, I know we had the tease of it going into the MCU,
But
so
also we have it potentially in the Across the Spider Verse. No, Beyond the Spider Verse. Right? Isn't that the new one? What's the new one coming out? Is it Beyond the Spider Verse, or was that the second one?
no, Across the Spider Verse was the second one because it was going through all the Spider Verses.
That's where it was. Okay. Anyway, you.
I
So my
don't
whole
remember
thing
what the
is,
third one is.
you get my point I'm making. So it's
Yep,
like,
it could
um,
still be in that one.
well, because the idea was the Venom verse is in that universe or in that movie because we saw Chow.
Yeah, no. I understand. I mean, he could make an appearance in there. He might not.
Yeah.
I mean,
But anyway,
but
so
yeah,
we have,
this movie comes out October 25th of this year. So nice
yeah.
Halloween movie.
Oh, it makes sense. It makes sense. And like with Agatha coming out too in September, I think it goes right to Halloween, which is perfect too, because that's September 19th, I think, or and that one's definitely going to go past Halloween. It's going to be like right like the harvest season, which is perfect for witches.
Oh yes, that is true.
But anyway, so let's get right into My Adventures with Superman, episode 4. A lot to
Okay, so I apologize real quick, just so that way we are good. I was looking up the names of the Spider Verse films. First one, Into the Spider Verse. Second one, Across the Spider Verse.
cross.
Third one is Beyond the Spider Verse.
Okay.
So
Into, across, beyond.
yeah. So all right, now we can go into My Adventures with Superman.
This was a emotional episode,
Yeah,
more
it
so than
was.
what I was expecting. So I was correct in that it was about Lois and her dad,
Yep,
but
obviously.
definitely I definitely was not expecting what we got.
I was expecting when so like going into it because it was divergence of the lowest of
It
the
was two
lanes or
lanes diverged or two
yeah.
something like
So
that.
it was like I was expecting like them butting heads the entire episode, like them
No,
with the different beliefs. It was not that.
no, no. We got to. So basically, what Mike and I are talking about is we get the backstory of Lois Lane and her dad, and like basically how their lives were. And she had no friends because she had to move around a lot because of his job, and he couldn't tell her about his job because it was classified. And she got sick and tired of it, and then eventually, mom died. Um,
Yep.
I'm. It's it's
They
un
didn't specify what happened. I'm assuming she died.
No, it's definitely she died, but the way it made it seem was it wasn't clear if it was like an illness or like depression and she killed herself. Like, and
Also true.
the reason why I say it that way is because they left it so ambiguous that
Mm-hmm.
it could go either way and they wouldn't be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's more of my thing on that piece. And like, she definitely died. Like, there's no way. Like, if she didn't, I'd be shocked. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way they made it seem was mom's dead.
I mean, at the end of the day, too, like the mom, just like Lois, could have been
Just
getting
left.
tired of him not being around and everything being classified, and just said, "I'm done," and then left. And
No, here's the thing. You're absolutely right. I'm not
so
arguing that.
that's the like they didn't specific. I'm leaning towards she died because of the
I
way
agree
that
with you.
the bit by the tone of the episode.
Also,
But
also too, because she's not trying to see her mom like she's trying to see her dad. So, like in my mind, she would have tried both.
the only reason I don't say that with the mom is because if she left and abandoned her,
But
like
isn't that
I
what
don't.
dad did? Dad kind of
Dad,
did that too.
Dad didn't abandon her.
Well, no,
Dad was always coming.
but he like. All right, let me rephrase it this way. In her mind, he did.
In her
Like,
mind, he did
but
at
you're
the
right.
end of the episode.
Physically, he did not. I agree with you. Like he never actually just up and left. She was the one that left. I agree. But what I'm getting at is in her mind, he left. You know what I'm saying? So like if mom left, she would have felt, you know what I mean? She would have kind of felt the same way in my mind. That's why I leaned more towards mom being dead.
Yeah, I mean, like I said.
No, you're right. They left it open enough where she could have just left
Mhm.
because you're
I,
absolutely right.
I somewhat agree with you in the sense like, oh, she would still be looking for mom, but at the same time, because of the fact that like dad was still came back, dad was leaving because of work, not because he just didn't want to be a part of her life anymore.
That's also true. And in the end, he didn't want to not be a part of her life. She chose to be away from him,
Yes.
which I thought was interesting because I did not think that would be the case. I
No.
thought Dad left. And to be fair, had we had this conversation before this episode, I would have definitely said he left, and I think you probably would agree with me.
By the way that the tone was of him
And
always
how
saying,
she
"I'm
reacted
I'm
with
not
him, how
around to
he
protect
always
you."
left, how he always moved. I
Hmm.
just assumed he was the one that left, not realizing that. And also, his training helped her become the best reporter of all time, too,
Yeah. Yep.
which is something I didn't think of either. But I think that's kind of a cool homage to her dad, too, where, like, she's doing her own thing, obviously, but at the same time, it's like also cool. So, like,
Yeah.
we get to see. So we're gonna break this up into two parts. We're gonna talk about the Lois and Dad thing, and then we'll talk about Jimmy and Superman
Which
because
then
they're
leads to Superman and Lois.
yes. So we're gonna stop when we get to the fighting because that's when Superman comes in, and then we'll talk about um, Johnny and Jimmy. No, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Jimmy. I keep calling him Johnny. Um. Anyway, so anyway, I lost track for a second. So I did completely went blank. So anyway, Lois goes to see her dad at Clark's place, and she realizes he's being paranoid, but she sees him leave, so she follows him. The whole scenario is he's basically being told he's being found by Waller, by an old friend, and he then begins to go to throughout his old hideouts, and Lois follows him, where Task Force X, specifically Deathstroke, Damage, and Atomic Skull.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Uh,
I was waiting for you to butcher one of them.
I honestly, it was gonna be Damage. Um, it was gonna be Damage. That's why I like heavily focused on that one, and then I
I
forgot.
was
I
wondering
was
if you
like
were going to call him
Atomic.
Danger again.
I almost did. That's why I stopped. But anyway, so we have this interaction. We get to see all the tech that he has, which goes up against those opponents really easily and goes really well. So the whole concept is basically he goes to find his buddy who's supposedly going to help him.
Hmm.
And it turns out his buddy was
The
screwing him
buddy
over.
sold him out. No,
Yeah,
not sold him out, but lured him into a trap
correct. And that's when the explosion happens, where they then go into
by a teddy bear.
buy a teddy bear. And then escape to the science museum, science emporium.
They don't escape.
No. But it explodes and they enter into it because they're
Yeah,
there.
well, when they're running in atomic because they're fighting
No, you're right.
Deathstroke.
They don't escape. My apologies, but they like explode out of that room where they were.
Yeah, they get like atomic skull is waiting for them on the roof, attacks them, and that leads to getting
Correct.
tossed into.
And the reason why we're stopping that story because it's getting good because Superman comes in and we have to stop there because we have to talk about Jimmy Olsen getting a letter from Star Labs. Well, it's not really a letter. It was a holographic message that stated that he's one of the elites, and because he's the
Friendship with
best
Superman.
because of his he's the best friend of Superman. He needs to be there to discuss Superman, right? And it's and it sounds and when everyone's there and everything else, he asks Clark to join him because he wants him to be there because it's his friend. He goes out, spends a lot of money, although
We
not
saw
as
the
much.
ticker going down again.
I did see that chick go down again, but it wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be. I thought he would have
No,
spent a lot more money.
I
That
agree.
being, that being said, it's still a lot of money for one night, but like for the amount we've seen him use in an episode, that's not that much.
Yeah,
So
that
like
was. As soon as that popped back up, I'm like, oh, this is
I was
not
like,
going
oh, I
away
was like,
yet.
are we gonna get down to zero? Are we gonna get close? No. But anyway, so we see that we have him Clark dress up. The two of them go in, and Clark is Jimmy's hype man. So they start talking. They then they go in there, and there's a guy like, oh my god, you're you're Jimmy Olsen from you're Firebird. Like, I'm a huge fan." And he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to hear you speak about Superman." And that's when they find out that the conversation is about Superman being a menace. Like, is Superman a threat to humanity?
Yep.
That's,
They lure him into a trap to basically just try to debate him onto like you said, bringing down Superman,
and
and
his opponent,
is the one who hyped him up. He hyped up and got him his courage to chase his dreams. Lex
the
Luthor.
founder of LexCorp, and Lex Luthor.
Yep.
And this is the Lex. I didn't think we were going to get this Lex Luthor so early. I'll say that. I thought there was going to be some time for him to develop and stuff like that, but we went real hard into Superman's a menace. I'm now the forefronter.
In the forefront. Yep.
I'm in the forefront of all of this, really being like, Superman's a bad guy. We need to have military be able to take him down, because who's to say that if Superman doesn't change his mind, we could all lose everything we have, which he's not wrong.
No, yeah, absolutely. We've seen many iterations where Superman goes rogue. There's nothing you can do to stop him. So, I mean, yeah, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. I don't think he's doing it the right way necessarily, but it's Lex Luthor. He does what he wants.
Obviously.
But no, this is like the first time we get to see Lex be Lex. I guess the best way to phrase it. This is the first like real time. Like, we kind of got a hint of it when he goes into and meets Amanda Waller for the first time.
He's finally getting into the skin of Lex Luthor that we generally know of the character.
Yes.
He's the genius. He has the hate for Superman, and now we're going to start seeing him plot and try to figure out ways to stop Superman.
I'm actually hoping we get a power suit from him too.
I don't think it's going to be.
I don't think it's this season.
I think if anything, it'll be at the end of the season.
If it happens this season, it's the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have other people test out his projects before he uses them.
We're gonna get like tastes of the equipment on the minions, and then like maybe at the end of the episode it's gonna come together.
End of the season, you mean?
Yeah.
No, but I knew what you meant. I agree with you. So anyway, we have this debate, and basically it comes down to Jimmy losing the argument. Basically,
Jimmy doesn't really defend because he's so caught off guard.
Well, I think he's caught off guard, but like I think the other thing too is Lex isn't wrong, because Jimmy knows why Superman isn't going to do that, but he can't say why Superman won't do it, because it will give away Superman's secret. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, you can't, like, he couldn't defend him, because the way he would defend him is, well, he's been my friend since we were kids, but he can't say that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think that's one of the big things here. It's like, it's a tough thing. So he's like, not only is he caught off guard, one, because he wasn't aware of what the actual topic was. He thought it was just talking about Superman in general. And then two, the fact that he couldn't actually defend him without giving away Clark's secret.
Yep. I mean, it was a lose-lose situation for him, because just the whole setup. It was a setup. But it makes
Clark worry about his friends. Is the best way to think about it. So then there's the explosion there. Superman goes to help out, and it's Clark, Lois, and General fighting off the 3 members of Task Force X.
Which I have to say, the music for that fight was awesome.
Not only was the animation great as well, but it also showed, like, it was perfectly done, but at the same time it also ruined Superman at the same time, because there was no evidence of any of the villains.
What do you mean?
Like, there were no villains there when all the people showed up. There were no villains. They had already left.
Oh yeah.
So like, not only was it like the fight scene was great, the music was phenomenal. We get to see all of them kind of fight and all that stuff, which is good. The big thing here too was the fact of, like, we get to see like Superman being like, "Is everyone okay?" And Lex going, "See, Look it, he destroyed everything. He destroyed all the science stuff because he doesn't believe us humans deserve it.
And you just see the defeat in his in him.
Well, I think the defeat came when Jimmy left without saying anything, and
That
that
was
was the
that
defeat.
was that was the big one. I don't remember what exactly Lex said that made him.
It was something along the lines of like, "This is what I've been talking about." If
Oh, no. So this it was he Lex came up to Jimmy and said, "Thank you for the pep talk. If it wasn't for you,
that's what it was,
this would have never happened." And Superman was like, "What?" And that's when he ran.
yeah, because it's taking out of context because we know what the conversation was. It was just a guy down on his luck crying, and Jimmy was trying to help him out. He didn't think like anybody would ever think that that guy would turn into the main supervillain of his best friend.
hmm
Um,
um,
so we have that happening, and then Clark disappears, and he disappears from everyone at least for this episode. The rest of this episode,
he goes to the meeting spot where he had hoped to meet Lois on top of the Daily Planet.
no, no. Well, he first went to Lois's apartment.
Right. He went to her apartment, and
And that's when it really messed with him when
we
General.
can't say that. We have to mention that in during the fight, the lanes disappeared with the invisibility technology.
I thought it was teleportation. Was it
No,
invisibility?
no, it was invisibility.
Okay, no, I that doesn't ruin anything for me. It's basically they got out of there. So anyway, they get back to her apartment. He says Clark is weird, and she agrees with him. And I think that's what messes with Superman even more. So that's when
Yep.
he's just goes to the Daily Planet on the top of the building, and
Yes.
that's where he listens to her message, being like, "Oh, I had a thing with my dad, like, but we definitely should talk tomorrow," and everything else. And then he then talks to the device to try to talk to Cora, and the message gets sent.
Yep.
And then
He
there's two
he
things that happen.
decides that he doesn't want to be alone anymore.
Correct. And then there was two things that happen at the very end of the episode. Lois's dad left again.
Yep.
No trace of him.
With a recap of what happened just at the end of when she cut him out.
Yes. Which is where we find out she was the one that left, not him.
Yep.
And then we also get the mecha looking Kryptonian. The one that was on
Yeah.
the ship that was trying to invade Earth.
The Kryptonian mecha suit hovering
That's
over.
what we're calling it right now until we know for sure.
Yeah. The Brainiac Zod. We're gonna call it that for now.
Imagine if that's Cora. It can't be
Kara.
because we've seen Kara, but because we've seen Kara in the Supergirl suit. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, that was the end of the episode. I thought it was really good. It was definitely more emotional than I was prepared for because we haven't really gotten a lot of that in this show.
Yeah.
At least not to this degree.
No. No. This was a heartful episode. Like it was. They like really dug into
Oh,
you
they
emotions
they
in this
dug deep.
episode.
No, I agree.
Um,
Yeah, it definitely affected me more than I thought it was going to. Great, like don't get me wrong, great episode overall. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just stating like it was more of an emotional episode than I was expecting, but it was still a good
mhm.
episode. And we got
This is
backstory on the
this
lane.
shows this really shows that like you don't need an action filled episode to be a great episode.
I agree. No, 100%. 100% agree. I 100% agree. The that I yeah. I mean, nothing to say other than I agree. Um, anything else you want
But
to add?
nope, I can't wait for next week. Before what I want to see the name of the episode 5.
Isn't it like something stupid like Kryptonian Union or something like that, or like Family Reunion?
Nope. Episode 5 is most eligible Superman.
Oh, that's
Doesn't
right.
give it doesn't give any context, but
And we talked about that meaning many different things
yeah. Um,
because we
so I
also have
mean,
Steel,
we have Steel. It could
who's
technically be.
a
It could.
Superman, because
Yep.
the play on it was he was the Man of Steel.
I mean, technically, it could
Well,
be Supergirl.
nope, that's right,
Uh,
because it could be. You're absolutely right. It also could be that creature that was up in the atmosphere as well.
yep.
There's a lot of plays in this that could be happening. But
It
overall,
could honestly be like Superman going on a date.
or Superman being single.
Or yeah,
They
yeah,
broke up. I mean, all those things are accurate, meaning like they could happen, but also at the same time could be none of them because
yep,
they're very good and they're very clever on these episodes. All right,
absolutely.
now we got to talk about the 2 episode premiere of the Acolytes.
What did you think of these 2 episodes?
I thought it was really good. Did you have a problem with it?
I I had no issues with it. I loved it. I
But
don't. I, the hate online. I don't know if you've seen the hate that this
I
show is
actually
getting.
haven't.
It is stupid.
I will say this: I had one complaint. They Drew Barrymore'd me. Do you know what that saying is? You might not.
Oh, the Jedi that got killed at the beginning.
Yes. All right. So you do know what being Drew Barrymore was. So like the
Yep.
big hype was like Drew Barrymore being in Scream, and then she dies in the like before the opening credits, I believe. And that's
No,
exactly
it
what
was.
happened. That's exactly what happened in this because I not to say I didn't think she was gonna have like I thought she was gonna have a bigger role, and the fact that she died literally before the opening credits of the series, I was like,
They hyped
wow.
that up so big.
But they did such a great job of it, though.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
mean, I got to give them credit. So, like, first off, I'll say this had the best fight scenes that I've seen in a long time.
These have had good fight scenes, and they haven't even used any lightsabers.
Very, like, I think they used it for like 2 seconds.
It wasn't in any fights though.
No, well, yes, because she used it to slice the knives.
Okay, yeah.
But that was it.
It wasn't like lightsaber combat. It
No,
was
no,
just
no,
more
no. I
like
agree. No, it wasn't lightsaber combat at all. I agree.
majority of it was force and hand to hand combat.
Hand to hand combat, and it was really well done.
It was.
Really well done. I was really impressed with it. Um, I understand why they did the 2 episode premiere. They really needed it for this series because I wasn't sure what was going on, like whether this girl had a multiple personality disorder or
Yep.
what,
Yep.
right?
No,
Because I
as
literally
soon as
was
that
like, well, the whole thing was they played it off perfect because she kills the Jedi, then she wakes up the next morning and
and
she's like,
having
"Where were
like
you
a
last
panic
night?"
attack.
And I was like, "Oh," and she was like, "I was busy, none of your business," right? And I'm thinking to myself, what was she doing? Like she was killing Jedi. Like you couldn't tell me that wasn't the same actress. Granted, it is, but I'm like, it's the same actress, it's the same character, right? And then all of a sudden, it was. It wasn't until
It was the flashbacks.
it wasn't even the full flashback. It was when she saw her sister,
Yeah.
like the younger version of her sister for the first time. That's when I went, oh, because I rewatched the 2 episodes because I watched them. So normally I watch them with my aunt. We didn't this week because of stuff going on. So we watched. So I watched it again on Saturday. It makes more sense on the first Jedi's reaction to the marking because she knew who she was. She thought she knew.
Oh, okay.
She thought she knew who she was until she saw that and went, "What?"
Yep.
Because she knew mine.
Yeah.
So when I rewatched it, I went, "That scene makes changes completely after watching episode 2 because she knew exactly what twin that was because she thought like everyone else that twin was dead."
Yeah. Okay. I didn't pick up on that.
No, because we thought that was the same person. But
Yeah.
because I rewatched it because I was watching it with my aunt, all of a sudden I go, "Oh my gosh, that makes more sense because they emphasize so much on the spot, like the birthmark or whatever you want to call it, she has, right?" And
Yep.
I went, "Oh, that's because she knows who that was. She thought it was the apprentice
Yep.
originally, and then
Yep.
realizing no, it was the dead sister that isn't dead."
Oh man, that makes this so much even better.
Right? Like she knew who killed her without like I thought she thought it was OSHA,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And she did originally until she saw the mark, and that's when she knew it wasn't OSHA, it was Mai. And I was like, oh my gosh, that hit me so much harder the second time because I didn't think of that because we didn't know.
Yeah.
They did such a good job with that because rewatching it, you get more.
Oh yeah. No, I mean all those little things. When you watch things the second time, you pick
Mm.
up on those little details
And
that
it
you
was perfect
don't.
because if you rewatch it, which I highly recommend doing obviously later, the look on her face when she sees that is shock,
Hmm.
because not because I thought it was because she saw that it was OSHA. It was because she saw somebody who she thought was dead.
She was seeing a ghost. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
No, so good, so good, so good.
Now, I
Uh,
have to say, this is one of the things that people are complaining about online, and it's stupid,
what's
at
their
least to
issue?
me. At least to me. Were you pissed that she got killed by a knife?
No, because of the way it was done.
It
She
made
purpose
sense.
she purposely did it to give herself an opening to kill her.
No, but like, were you like so? Like, people are complaining that she got killed by a small dagger to the heart.
No, no. I think my issue for it was how quickly she died from the knife, because I felt like she could have lived a little bit longer and done some more like damage to her. But I think it makes more sense now after rewatching it that she already thought this girl was dead, and I think the shock and everything else weakened her in more ways than one, because it was the shock that she found out the person that was dead is alive, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that she didn't think she had the capability of killing.
Well, I mean, the thing that the discourse is the fact that it's a small like throwing knife,
But
basically.
she also bought those knives and made those knives specifically to get rid of Jedi.
No, it is, and it was in the knives literally went straight into her heart, and
Correct.
like people are comparing it. So this is the thing. People are comparing it to, okay, this Jedi Master just got killed by a tiny little dagger to the heart, but Sabine survived the lightsaber stabbing in the kidney.
But it was the kidney.
Exactly,
Like you can
and it was
survive that.
cauterized.
Correct.
A lightsaber cauterizes the wound, and
Correct.
she got medical attention immediately.
Yeah, I don't like, my whole thing was that wasn't the part that bothered me. I think it makes a lot more sense when you rewatch it personally,
I mean,
because
yeah,
she's completely taken off guard. Like the Jedi are supposed to be clear-minded,
yeah,
right? And we see that all the time. When they're no longer clear-minded, they lose. The fact that this dead kid is not dead, right,
yep.
throws her off her game, and the fact that she's trying to kill civilians, she then stops it. She's not thinking clearly. She gets stabbed, realizes what happens, and goes, "Damn!" And
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's the same situation as what happened in X Men '97 with the island. I mean, the mutants were defending the weaker mutants. They got killed. Same thing in
yeah,
this situation.
I think if Maya didn't throw the knife, she wouldn't have been able to kill her,
Oh yeah, no, no, no.
which we all
She
know.
used that to her advantage. She
Used it
knew
to
what
her
was going to
advantage
happen.
100%. So I won't argue that whatsoever at all. I'm just stating, like, the parts I was mad about made more sense after rewatching it.
Oh yeah,
So like I had the luxury, like my issue was just the fact that it killed her too quickly, where I felt like she could have done one last final, like, either swing or force push or something, right? Something as like a last ditch effort, but it made sense watching it the second time, because she's not even comprehending that this woman is even alive.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, I didn't have an issue with that because in my head, it's just like you got stabbed in the heart, you're dead.
No,
Um,
what I'm getting at is that there was a chance, because of how calm how Jedi, she could have done something at the end, but
yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm just
I don't
saying,
think
and for
I
for
don't
me, I
necessarily think
didn't
she
have an
should have
issue.
lived. She should have died. I get it. Like from that, she should have died. I get it. My whole thing was the fact of like it makes more sense watching the second time.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, we haven't even made it through like the first 10 minutes of the episode.
no, we
Uh,
haven't even gotten to the title screen
well, no,
yet.
we did kind of a little bit, because we did bring up that she wakes up in the ship and everything else. So she's a mech tech OSHA, who we assume is the assassin. At this point, we
Mhm.
assume she's the assassin because it's the same actress and everything else.
We see her go do her job, repair a ship, which is another thing that people have an issue with because there's a active fire in space. God forbid this is Star Wars, and
But it's a gas main, and it kept producing gas.
it's in space. There's no fires in space, even though in past Star Wars there's been fires in space.
Anyway, that to me was the least of my concerns.
These are the two things, aside for racism and sexism, that the people are complaining about. I'm
I'll say
just
this:
letting you
I
know.
did. I will tell you that I did not like the Jedi Knight,
Which one?
the only Knight. The others were
Was it
masters.
Yord?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him.
Oh no. I mean, I think that's his character that he's supposed to
No, no, no,
be.
no, no. That I think he's meant not to be liked.
Yeah.
But I'm getting at is I
He's
don't like him. He's
he's by
he's
the code and
but
whatever.
he's not
So
like he's by the code, but he's hypocritical. I don't know. It's weird. It's like there's certain things he does that bothers me. And
I
like
mean, I wouldn't call him hypocritical, but
well,
I
because
mean,
it's a pride thing for him. He's very hear me out, right? He very much wants the appraisal of all the masters. Okay,
yes. What?
and that's very un-Jedi like, right?
He wants to prove that he's a good Jedi, so he's trying to go above and beyond, and it's making
Tries too
him
hard, and because of that, he's not a Jedi because of it. If you understand what I
exactly.
mean, like he's not following like Jedi, like he's not. If he would stop worrying about being like high-ranking knight and everything else, he might be a better person.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's like in this
He's
situation where,
arrogant.
like,
I
so,
don't
like,
like arrogance.
yeah, it's like so, like, in the situation with OSHA, he's like, okay, all the evidence is showing that OSHA is doing it, and the mass
So,
Soul, thank you. Holy crap, you're on a roll tonight. I'm like, oh my god.
and I said it correctly.
Soul is like, no, she didn't do it. She didn't do it. And he's like,
Oh no,
no,
no, no.
all the
Well, it
evidence.
was it was more the fact of it doesn't make sense that she would do it. She's not trained enough. Like she stopped training for 6 years. It doesn't make sense. I don't think he definitely was no way in hell thinking it was the sister.
No, 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 definitely. But my point is like, the Soul is be doing the Jedi thing and saying, listen, there's no way that this is doing it. You have to use your head and think clearly. You have to look at all the possibilities. That, like, there has to be an
Yeah.
explanation. And Yord is turning around and saying, no, the evidence is saying it's her. We have to arrest her. Don't leave her alone. Don't
And
trust her.
he questioned everything too. Like everything that was done, he's like, no, we got to get her back. I do like Soul's Padawan though.
Yeah, I do like her. I forget her name.
I can't think of it. But yeah, that character is phenomenal. Like I think like that's this version like that's this era's Ahsoka.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like I
so far.
no, you
I
really
mean,
understand what I'm saying. You know what you meaning like it's like think of it like the Clone Wars right era. Like you know what I mean? Like she's that Padawan. Like she's the one that everyone likes, or I should
yeah,
be. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Um,
So
so I
anyway,
don't know. I don't know if I like to. I want to point out that this is really pushing the fact that this is the time where the Jedi stop caring about what's right and more turning towards what
political.
what is politically the better thing to do. Because as you saw at the beginning of the episode, uh,
No, no, it
we,
was it was more towards. I felt it more at the end of episode two more than anything else.
well, it
You got a
really
hint of it
pointed
in
out.
episode one, but it was
It,
very prominent in episode two.
no, it was very prominent in episode two, but you first saw it in episode one at the beginning when they told Soul that OSHA had done it, and
And
she turned and Soul had said, "Let me go
our
investigate. Let
political
me
our political enemies will use this against us.
if they find out a former Jedi killed a Jedi Master." Like that right off the bat, they're setting the tone that they care about the political
No,
image more
absolutely,
than the right thing to do.
absolutely, absolutely. Soul also has a connection with OSHA, which a lot of people have a problem with.
Yep,
I'm talking about in the show, not
yep,
outside. It makes sense because it sounds like whatever happened on that planet so many years ago, because we don't have the full. I mean, we're definitely going to know before the end of the season, right?
yeah, yeah,
There's no way they're not going to tell us. But somehow, Mai created a fire that pretty much killed everyone.
yep. Killed the village.
Yeah, and the four Jedi that were stationed there pretty much just watched it happen.
Yeah,
Again, it's
or
from what the way it's perceived. That doesn't mean
was
that's going to
involved in
happen.
some way.
They were at least there and weren't able to do enough to stop it, but
Yeah,
they were stationed there and things still happened, right? Mai wants the revenge on the 4 Jedi, which these 4 Jedi are like, first off, from what we've seen of these Jedi, they are very powerful Jedi than what we've seen in our present day Jedi's.
Yep. We've seen all four of them.
Yes.
In
Dual,
action, we have seen three.
yes. Well, kind of 4 a little bit.
I mean, I wouldn't consider a roar action, but
Well, no, he used the Force, pulled the blaster, and snapped it.
oh, yep, okay. I mean, fair. That's fair.
I mean, I agree with you, not to the level of degree of the. We got to see the real skill of the other 3 more than him, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's a he.
I
I don't
think they
think.
said she.
Did we? Did they say she?
I
I thought they said
think
he.
I don't
I don't
remember.
know.
I'm
I don't think
leaning I'm leaning
I don't think
towards
I'm
she, but we'll
confident.
find out next episode.
We'll definitely find out next episode. Because if I remember correctly, at the end she says, "You found the Wookiee Jedi," and he goes, "Yes." I don't. I'm now questioning. I don't know if they even said the gender.
I don't remember.
Either do I. Anyway,
They
we get to see them fight for the most part, but we get to see how powerful the second Jedi that dies. Right? He's in the temple and he's meditating using the Force so strongly that nothing can penetrate him.
that really signifies how strong he is.
Yeah, and how he's been doing it for years. Like he's just
Yep,
been living like that for years.
he's been doing it since the
He
fire.
was sent no, well, since he was stationed there.
Which
So
so I
which
think they
I
said it
think it
was
was like
10 years.
yeah, which I think was like it had to have been right after, but like I would guess like a month or so after. Like he went
Well,
there
yeah,
and then
it's basically been since the incident.
correct. And I'm
Uh,
curious at how he got the eye
yes.
because I have a feeling that there was I think I have a good idea of what might have happened. I think the Mai's master might have interfered with the Jedi for a split second to let Mai cause the fire.
Yeah,
But anyway,
something along those lines.
because there's no way he got that eye anything from that day.
Yeah.
Like he had to have gotten it from, but we get so little information
Hmm.
because these Jedi blame themselves for what happened, but yet we have no context other than that Mai started the fire and everyone died.
Yeah. So we have no contact. My start of the fire. Everyone died. Jedi blame themselves.
And they assumed Mai died.
Yeah.
And apparently
Uh,
Mai thought Osha died.
yes. Yes.
Which that was a plot twist for me because when we kept seeing the little memories of young Mai, I thought that was Mai talking to Osha.
It it depended on the situation.
Because it sounded, I thought Mai was using the Force to mess with her sister. So that
Oh
was
yes, at the beginning, I thought that yes.
obviously when we find out that Mai didn't know that Osha was alive, everything changed mentally for me. But before that moment, I was like, oh, she's purposely putting her sister in these situations to get her in trouble.
Yep.
Which is,
Yep.
to be fair, did look like that, and they did a great job of making us think that way.
Absolutely. No, I that's what I thought. I agree with you at that start.
Oh,
And
100%.
then once
100%.
we found out that they thought both of them were dead, then it was like you said,
Then I
completely
realized,
changed
oh,
everything.
Osha's stronger with the Force than I thought.
Yes, she is. She's been trained for years by the Sith.
But I think she's. I mean, there's no way we're not going to see the sisters fight. I can't not see that.
No, it's gonna happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen.
Especially because of the fact that Osha might not want to fight Osha, but Osha certainly wants to
Which is so
get
funny
revenge
thinking
on
about
Mai.
which side's which. You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
Like thinking about like Osha's the good side, Mai's the bad side, but yet Osha wants to kill Mai, Mai doesn't want to kill Osha.
Yep.
It's just a
Yep.
funny little twist because I will say this: the Jedi do not look good in this series.
So
They,
far, no. Aside for Soul.
Soul is the only one I truly like. I do like
Yeah.
his Padawan also, but I mean, like Soul is the only one that I've actually been like, ooh. Because at first it was a little bit like I was on the fence with him, and then once we get to see him really deal with Osha in the first episode, I was like, I like him.
Oh yeah. So something I don't know if you heard this, but the actor who plays Soul
was in Squid
Um,
Games.
huh?
He was the main actor in Squid Games.
Oh, he was.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
he's a
cool.
Korean actor. He played the main character in Squid Games.
So apparently, because he's such a big fan of Star Wars, to get the role, he he learned fluent. He learned how to speak English fluently in order to get this role. So it's only been. I mean, the show's been in production for what, a couple of years, and he's made such great progress with speaking. I mean, like,
We also don't know when he started learning English either.
yeah. I mean, well,
No,
I
no, but
mean,
I'm not trying to discredit him at all. I'm just stating that we don't. It's not like we don't know how long it's been. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah,
the show hasn't been in production for that long. I mean, the show. Well, actually, I can't say that. We've been known about it for 2 years,
correct.
but
I also think too, like he also gained the big success. He became famous for a show from his home country,
mhm.
right? Which is a rare thing to happen to begin with. You know what I mean? Like you become famous in another country more so. I can't say more so because that's not the right word to say, but like globally for a show that normally Korean shows are not thought of to be great.
Oh yeah,
Normally you get into foreign shows and stuff like that, they're not perceived as well as. But Squid Games was one of the few that, and that's where he gained his fame in globally. He was
yeah,
famous in Korea already,
yeah.
but this is where he gained his fame in the world. And I personally think it's perfect because his accent is just enough. Like I can understand him fluently without a problem, but his accent is just enough to give us like English is not like a universal language in the universe. Like they have to learn it. It's got its own dialects and everything else,
Oh yeah,
and it makes I like it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like I love that.
I just want to point out that in Star Wars, English is basic.
Oh, it's not common.
Well, so the language of English is called it's called basic. It's not
I
called
know that's
English.
what
It's
I'm
called
asking.
basic.
So it's not called common. It's called
No,
basic.
no, no. It's called basic.
Okay. Interesting. But
But
it makes
yeah,
sense.
I mean, that was
You
pointed
understand
out
what
in
I'm
this.
saying? No, what I'm getting at is it's like it makes sense. I'm just saying like I think it's just awesome because he's a phenomenal actor regardless, and he's done. Granted, it's only been 2 episodes. He's done a really good job.
Oh
He's
yeah,
given me Qui-Gon / Obi-Wan vibes. Like he's different from the Order in the
yeah.
best way possible.
Yep. He definitely he want like even in episode 2 where he's fighting with the other Jedi masters, like, or not fighting, but arguing with her, saying like, "Listen, we have a lead. We have to follow this." And she's like, "No, you have to come back and discuss this with the council."
What happens if Soul teaches the Anakin line? Meaning, like he, he was the start of all like the Jedi and Apprentice, like the pet, like like what happens if he's in the same line of like Yoda? You know what I mean? Like do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Um, I don't know how plausible that would be. So it goes. So at the moment, it's Sabine, Ahsoka,
Yes,
Anakin,
yes,
Obi Wan,
yes. Qui Gon,
Qui Gon, Count Dooku, Yoda.
Yoda. Who taught Yoda? We don't know, right?
If Soul did not teach Yoda.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying he taught Yoda. I'm saying he taught the person that taught Yoda. I'm talking about there might be some other people in between, but like there's the you understand what I'm saying? Like it's part of the lineage. It's part of the training lineage.
Yeah, but Yoda is 1,000 years old.
And isn't this 1,000 years in the past?
100.
Oh.
It's only 100. That's why.
Oh, we better see Yoda.
So supposedly, so people are saying that there are no legacy characters in the show.
But all right. All right, I'm gonna stop this right here because I thought it was 1,000 years in the past.
No, hang on. Let's go to Google.
I thought it was I swore it was 1,000. I thought it was a millennia.
Um, the franchise's latest TV show, The Acolyte, begins about 100 years before we ever met Anakin Skywalker. Um, so yeah, 100 years. He did not teach Yoda, and he did not train someone who taught Yoda.
No,
If anything, Yoda trained someone who taught him.
that's actually more likely. Oh, that's sad. For some reason, I thought it was 1,000. I don't know why.
I mean, that was the original theory with the show.
Oh, you know what? Maybe that's why I thought that, because I was like, I swore they said 1,000 years, because I think originally the plan was that.
Yeah, originally, like the thought was that it was going to be 1,000 years, and we had talked about maybe this was the Night show involving the Night Sisters, um, and obviously now this is completely different. Like this has gone in a
Yes.
completely different direction, so that is wrong. But yeah, no, this is before the
Okay. No. This is like the height of the Republic, or like the Jedi Council being in the Republic.
I think this is the start of the downfall.
Yes. Sorry, you're right. They've already been established and everything else, and now it's like they're now only caring about the political stuff and less about order.
Yeah,
They're more worried about political stuff than anything else. So the other thing we got to discuss too is, and we've kind of been bouncing around. So she kills the first one with a knife. She kills the second one with poison. Although technically they
which
killed
was
themselves.
frowned on.
Yes, the master does not like it, her using weapons. She should be able to kill them without a weapon,
Yeah.
unless she steals their laser sword.
Mm.
Because he didn't call it a lightsaber. We're at the beach stage.
Yeah, I don't remember that little fact, that little
He
detail.
doesn't call it a
I just remember
lightsaber.
them saying he wanted him kill him with just without a weapon.
But she would be allowed.
Although the knives were fine.
No, they're not. That's a
I
weapon.
thought she said that was fine.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, they're not fine. No, but the lightsaber is fine. But if she has
Yeah.
to
Well.
take it from her, because for her to be allowed to use she has to be a better Force user and a better fighter than the Jedi to be able to take their lightsaber. So if she
Yeah.
takes the lightsaber, it'd be allowed.
Yes. Yeah. That I remember.
We also don't know who that is. We got no extra evidence other than the fact that he has a red lightsaber.
Oh, the master. Yeah.
Yes, the master's just the
Which
master.
I like that little monologue at the end of the first episode where we saw him on the beachfront, front,
You know what I
whatever
like
cliff.
even more is when Soul reads her mind, and he goes, "Wow, your master's done great efforts to make sure he doesn't have his identity known, because even if you wanted to tell me, you couldn't tell me."
Mm-hmm. I liked that little. Can't. I guess it's an ambush. That little ambush that they coordinated with that. Um,
For my,
with Mai, yeah, in the
yeah,
town. And of course, Yord kind of did
he
his
screwed
own
it up.
thing again. But no, I like that little thing again, showing the strength of the Jedi without having to like the fight didn't need it. It was force
Mhm.
focused. Wasn't what was no weapon. I've really enjoyed that so far, and it really shows the power of these Jedi.
But I
And
also like too, like Soul trying to really get to know my, and this is why aren't you using a weapon? Like I know you have all these weapons on you. Why aren't you using them?
mhm.
Right? And then he takes all of her knives,
Yep, yeah.
or so he thinks, because there is one that she kept.
Um, I like her the accomplice, I guess. Um,
Quinn or Quamir, Quamir, Quamire.
I'm not even going to pretend that I know. So,
No, it's like Quamire, Quamir, something along those lines.
um,
I
I
want to
like
know
that they.
I want to know his connection to the master.
Yes, I like that they actually played it off as when Osha was going in to pretend to be Mai. Um, I like that it wasn't just that they didn't do the typical the villain is stupid and just fell for it. You know, he was like, you are. the sister. You are not
It wasn't
like.
until she made the mistake of saying something that was very like she was acting unmy-like to begin with, and he was a little
Mhm.
suspicious. But like in his mind, Mai's the only one. I mean, Mai's the only one that's alive, because in his mind, Osha is dead because that's
Yep.
what Mai's told him. So when she starts acting weird, that's when he realizes, no, this is the sister, and he's already
Yep.
said too much, not realizing obviously, because he gives away the fact that there's a master and the
Mhm.
fact that she wants to kill 4 Jedi.
Yes. Um, no. And then like I said, then he just figures it out that that's
I also
Osha.
I also like the idea when they do the plan to ambush Mai that it was actually the Padawan's idea.
Yes. Yep. Um, I thought it was funny after the fact when Mai and whatever his name is was trying to escape. That the other Jedi stationed in the area were like on lookout watching him, and it just ended up losing him. And they just like, oh, he's gone. And it's like, dude, he's literally just been right there. How did you lose him?
Yeah, it really shows how stupid the Jedi are.
Yep. Um, no, I'm really looking forward to the next episode.
But also, I'm looking forward to seeing the Wookiee
I'm so looking forward to that
because
Wookiee,
that Wookiee
seeing
is
what's
not
going to
going
happen.
down with ease.
No, 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 no. Wookiees are tough, especially Jedi Wookiees. They are not to be messed with.
No, I'm very curious at that, and I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. We know that it's leading to that, so we know what's going to happen. But I also like the fact that Soul wanted to go right to the fort, like right to that location, and was denied because they have to discuss it in political matters. And he's like, no,
Yep.
we already know what's going on. We don't need a discussion. No, we need to do a discussion because that's what we Jedi do.
Yeah. No, like I said, you can see that this is the start of the downfall,
Agreed.
or at least, like I said,
It's
we
it
don't really
it's
know what's
it
come
proves
before, but
this is the part where it's like very much proven that the Jedi don't know anything. Like
yeah,
the Jedi are losing their touch to reality.
yeah. As I've said before, like they were so convinced that the Sith were gone that they were just unwilling to accept the fact that.
Well, think of it this way: Soul still thinks it was a Jedi Master that trained Mai, a
Mhm.
former Jedi Master.
Yeah, I mean, hey, just they were so set in their ways that they were so stubborn that they
I
wouldn't
mean, he
they would
out of all people, he's going to be the one to first realize that it's something not Jedi related.
yeah,
But
and then the council's gonna say
disagree.
he's wrong.
Yeah, there's no way we would know. We would know. We would know.
um
But that's my whole thing.
no,
Like,
yeah,
if they have a council meeting, they need to have Yoda.
yeah, if we see the council, Yoda has to be there unless he's away on some mission or something, but they can
True.
finagle something.
Like, mhm. No, I agree. I'm just like, we better see it. But anyway, so
There
after
are a
that,
few Jedi that we could see from modern Star Wars.
yes, but they'd be a lot younger, and I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
Count Dooku would not be alive, correct?
No, no,
He wouldn't be born yet.
no. It was I believe Kid Fisto, which was the guy with the mask,
Yes, Yoda.
Yoda, and there was one more, but I don't remember.
Wasn't it
But
the weird guy with the weird head? He was like, I don't know.
possibly, I
I
don't.
can
I don't remember.
I,
I
I
don't.
could
I'm
be
blanking on
wrong.
his name.
But anyway, um, my phone decided to record what I was saying. Sorry. Um, randomly. So I agree with you. I think this is going to be great. So far, I've liked what we've seen. There's not been anything I've disliked. Um, and they've
And like I said, depending on the success of this show, it could lead to other Star Wars outside of the Skywalker saga.
but
So
also
like
too,
we could
this
get stuff
this show
from.
alone could have a lot of seasons.
No, yeah, absolutely. But like what I mean is like this could really branch out into different time periods of Star Wars finally, instead of just
I
focusing
think
on
we
that.
might. I think if this is successful, I think we'll get more of like, um, oh shoot, what was the one where they had the mini shorts, like the
The
short?
Tales of the
No,
Jedi.
no. The one where it was like different animators.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
Visions.
Visions. They could do something like that where they show a different side of the universe that we don't normally see.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I would love to see a show where we're diving into like the actual High Republic era of like when the Jedi were at their peak, and
I want
not
I
just like
want to
they were
see
fighting different villains that weren't Sith. Um,
I want to see more Sith. Like I want to see the start of the Sith. Like I really want to see I want to see the Sith in a way that hasn't been done before.
so I have to say too, like when we have some downtime, I'm going to be having you read more Star Wars books. Um, I started reading more into the Legends books,
Yep.
and like reading Darth Bane, Revan, and like those characters, and just those that like the Legends in general is a lot more powerful than the canon side,
Yeah.
but um, some of these things are just wild, and I want you to like outside of we're gonna go through the canon stuff first, but like
Yeah.
eventually we'll get to the Legends stuff, so that way you could get a little hint of
What's to
what
come?
it,
What
what it's
potentially could be there?
yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Anything else you want to?
Obviously, first we have to finish the Thrawn books because we've yet to do that.
Correct. Anything else you want to discuss? I think that was it, right?
No, for the most part, that was it. We touched a little bit on everything.
I mean, we definitely didn't do it in order, but I don't really care. It was more the fact of like it was really the focus of like I think we're definitely going to have Maya and Osha fighting. We're eventually going to see the Master, and the Master supposedly takes out a lot of Jedi.
from what
And
it seems.
what it looks like is we might see it on the planet where the Wookiee is, because it's the forest planet, and where we see the fight is in the woods.
Well, that is can't say that because there's more. There's woods everywhere. So
That's fair, but you understand the point I'm making. It has the
I do, I
potential
do, I
because
do.
it's the first planet in this series that has a forest.
Personally, I feel like that'll be more later in this because I feel like they're going to be setting up right now, and then
Plot twist:
maybe
it's their home planet. It's Osha in Mai's home planet.
yeah, that would be a twist right off the bat.
Well, it also makes sense why the fire started.
Fair, that would be fair.
Anyway, overall, very much looking forward to the rest of this series. I think it's great. I, I, I don't see anything wrong with it.
No, so far, no,
No,
absolutely not.
agreed. All right, let's get into your character spotlight.
All right, my character spotlight this week. His name is actually my apologies. He was first introduced in 2016.
Ooh,
He was introduced in a Deathstroke comic series. His name is Matthew Bland, otherwise known as the Red Lion. Now, I'm gonna go right off the bat and tell you that this character is a spoof of Black Panther. Um, so he is basically DC's version of the Black Panther.
Black Panther meet Red Lion. Fight.
Matthew Bland is a despot that runs a country in South Africa. It is called Berdunia. He, in order to have power, he is blackmailing not blackmailing. He's working with a congressman in the U.S. because this congressman does not want the U.S. to intervene in the gang.
Political
Not gang.
stuff.
No, not political. Like pirates. Pirates are fighting, and he doesn't want to intervene. Bland does not want the U.S. to intervene, and Bland is supporting this congressman because this congressman does not want the U.S. to intervene because he's like, just leave him alone. So, Bland hired Deathstroke to ensure that Congressman Hasgrove was reelected because Hasgrove was preventing the U.S. intervention in his corner of Africa. In exchange, he would allow Slade to complete his contract on the Clock King, who was under his protection. Slade succeeded, and as a result, the country became a no-fly zone. However, Clock King captured Bland and revealed the whole truth. The contract to kill Clockwing was secretly funded by him to lure Deathstroke to his country so he could kill Clock King and rig Hasgrove's election. Once he was dead, he would end Deathstroke, and Slade secretly goaded Hasgrove into committing suicide and kept the campaign funds for himself. Once Slade rescued him and ended Clock King, it is later revealed the truth behind everything that happened. It was all because he had been hired to get Deathstroke to change costumes, which he did successfully. So if you were to see pictures, literally, the costume looks exactly like Black Panther, but instead of a black suit, it's fully red. So, later, the no-fly zone Matthew paid Slade to set up backfired when it emboldened the tribes he was trying to cleanse to stage a full-scale revolt. The rebellion escalated to the point where they managed to make it all the way to the presidential mansion. Bland managed to hold up inside as the rebels advanced, but before they could get inside, Deathstroke had arrived to bail him out. Feeling he owed him for the extra cash he managed to cheat him out of, when he managed to reach Bland, he not only shot at him, but sized his pet lions on him as well. When he realized the mistake, he called them off, and the two made their escape. Using rocket boots based on steels and a harness for Bland, Slade rocketed his boots into the air with plans to latch onto an overhead plane piloted by Wintergreen. However, Slade overshot and missed the plane before they could fall to the ground. Bland grab onto the plane and spare them both. The group then finds another plane and continues their flight. While Slade and Wintergreen fly the ship, Bland takes a moment to talk to Slade's captive on board, his daughter, boyfriend Richard. Ugh. Excuse me. Pollen. Bland asks why he would try to kill Deathstroke's daughter, and Richard responds by asking if he fears Deathstroke. This strikes a nerve and earns him a punch. Matthew says that if he isn't afraid and he and Slade's aren't friends, Richard responds that he and Slade are both alike. Once they finally escape and their whole drama sorts out, they go their separate ways. Red Lion, currently, because of the revolution, is not in control of his little corner of Africa. He is trying to take it back. Once in a while, Deathstroke and Red Lion come back together because of contract killer. Why not? Red Lion has fought up against has gone up against the Justice League a few times. But like I said, his main focus is he just wants to control his corner of Africa. He wants to be in charge and control it with an iron fist. His powers and abilities. He has Promethean armor. The suit is made out of a Promethean mesh, which is an extremely strong material with several specifications that enhance his fighting in battle. He has claws, which are retractable, similar to Black Panther. The claws are made of the same material as the suit in general, the Promethean armor. They are strong enough that they can rip Cyborg apart.
Mm-hmm.
And again, similar to Black Panther, he has energy absorption. It can absorb most of the energy, and as he absorbs the energy, it makes him stronger and faster.
Oh, okay. So literally, it's a knockoff.
Huh?
I say literally to the T, it's a knockoff.
Yeah, 100%. And then if he wants to get from place to place, he owns his own little helicopter. The only difference between this and Black Panther is the fact that this is a villain, and he wants to he's a tyrant, whereas Black Panther, for the most part, tries to be a
A good
kind
guy.
and good
Tries
leader.
to be a good guy as much as possible.
Yeah. So yep, that's my character. There's honestly a lot that can be talked about this character, but it's a lot. So I don't want to spend all night talking about it.
All right, perfect. All right, so next week we're going to be talking about because the boys start next week, right?
The boys begin next week.
Um,
Cannot wait.
and we found out that most likely is going to be more than 5 seasons.
The creator of the boys came out and said that he was wrong, that the show would end at 5 seasons, and with the way the show has been going and how popular it is, they might consider extending it, which would be awesome. I know that we talked about how the boys, like, we obviously this is season 4. The way that they're going, it seems like Butcher is
Might
going to be dealing with his issue, might die, might find a cure, but if they want to keep the show going, they're going to find a way to make sure that they both live.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with you. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen on that piece, but looking forward to that. So we're going to be talking about the season premiere, 3 episode. Well, we're assuming 3 episode premiere of The Boys, and we're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Acolyte, which is episode 3, and episode 5 of My Adventures with Superman.
And as we said, the next couple of weeks are going to be pretty jam packed. So
Yeah, and those going to basically it's going to be those 3 shows for a while.
yeah,
So for now, that's going to be the end of the podcast. If you've made it this far, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. It'd be greatly appreciated. And as always, if there's something you want to talk about or you have questions about, write it in the comments down below. We'll be happy to hear from you guys. We try to always make sure that we respond. But overall, thank you very much, guys. Have a great night. And this is Scott and Mike signing out. Goodbye.